Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Gita Connection. And today we will be doing a summary study conclusion with specific shloka focus on the second chapter. The first verse we're going to be looking at, obviously we're not going to go into details today, we're just going to lick the bottle of honey, as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. We will lick the bottle of honey. So the first verse we will be studying today is the first one. We won't study all the verses as well. We'll just pick few. The first verse we will study is this one. I will also read the Sanskrit for effect purpose. This is Sanjaya speaking. Tam tata kripaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idapakhyam uvacha madhusudhana. This is Sanjaya saying, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudhana, Krishna, spoke the following words. The emphasis here is when we are powerless, when we are helpless, and when we literally get down on our knees and say, Krishna, I don't know what to do. Then Krishna helps. And this first sentence, we'll take first sentence here today. Prabhupada is speaking about material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in the verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu. And now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. So this is the touching of the verse today, this verse, that Krishna can kill the demon of our fears, the demon of our insecurities, the demon of misunderstanding that stops us from discharging our duties, especially if we ask Krishna to help us. All right. There's also another interesting thing Prabhupada says. Krishna is Madhusudana. He killed the demon Madhu. And Arjuna, whenever he calls Krishna Madhusudana, it's also like he is telling him, you kill the demon Madhu, and now you want me to kill Bhishma and Drona? So he's being a little bit like, oh, somebody's waiting in the, I forgot to pay attention to the room. Deepa, I'm going to make you co-host in case somebody joins. You can just let them in.
What do I need to do?
Nothing. It's okay.
You were going to show me last time. Can we
we
do it later on? Yeah. Okay.
Sure. So this is a very significant verse because it opens the doors. It opens the doors of the word Madhusudana. It opens the doors to Arjuna's weakness allowed Krishna in. Okay, the next verse we'll read is the next verse. Also, this one is very relevant. Okay, the next bottle of honey we're going to touch.
Radha Govinda, there's a bit of noise. Is there any way we can reduce it? It's coming from the background of where you are. No.
Sorry.
Okay, doesn't
Yes,
matter.
yes. My husband is in meeting with GBCs, and then we
Okay,
don't
you
have
just
a.
have to speak up a little bit louder then.
All right. Yeah, we don't have a door, so it's.
Yeah, we can
very
hear
loud.
you. It's just I thought if you could, it's okay.
Okay, so this is another key verse of this chapter. We're going to touch the bottle, lick the bottle of honey here. This is Krishna, and he starts to chastise Arjuna. So yes, when we admit our weakness and we say, "I'm feeling hopeless. This is me," then it's not that Krishna is going to say, "No, you're great." Sometimes friends do that, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I just studied. I can actually send it in the group if you like. It's a wonderful article. They say we should not surround ourselves with people who are our fans and those who agree with us and people who admire us. We should actually surround ourselves with people that we are in awe of or we admire, because that makes us open to what is happening. Okay, Khushbu is asking for the link to be sent. So what I will do is I will send it I'll send it. Khushbu, are you in the Gita Connection group? I will send it to that group. Okay. Bhagavan Vacha Utastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anarya Justam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. This is Krishna's chastisement. The Supreme Person said, "My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the progressive values of life. They do not lead to higher planets, but to infamy." I've been facing in my life, in lives of people they are close to me, this instances where practicing spiritual life when we were a little younger and when we were enthusiastic and eager for learning spiritual systems and principles was joyful. You know, Krishna gives us the taste of Krishna consciousness, which is very sweet in the beginning, because it's like, he wants to get us in. And we are also kind of enjoying going against people in our life, maybe our families or friends, and we're finding that to be a factor of enthusiasm. But then when the next stages come for Arjuna, it was a relational conflict. He's not getting his way. He's not able to have the cake and eat it too. Meaning he's not able to just let go of Bhishma and Drona and not kill them, but at the same time conquer the kingdom. You can't have both. So similarly, in our life, when we get a taste for spiritual advancement, spiritual habits, we naturally expect that the next stages of our life is also going to be pleasant, positive. We are, oh, this Gita verse is so nice, sit down and we contemplate, oh, this kirtan of this Maharaj, it takes me to the heavenly planet, or, you get an idea of what I'm saying. We all went through that phase. And then comes the phase where Arjuna is. Phase, they don't lead to higher planets. Krishna is telling Arjuna, what is happening to you? Where is your impurities coming upon you? And the difficult stage, it's the next stage of spiritual life where we're not just alone. enjoying our favorite kirtans or our favorite literature and hanging around with people that agree with us, right? The next stage is when we are surrounded by difficult relationships. And as in the context of Arjuna, duties of fighting with my mom, or duties of talking to my dad, even if I don't want to talk to him, or taking care of my mom when I don't want to, things like that. I mean, you all have your own duties that you may find it annoying to do. And I have been, especially with my close inner circle, where some of you in the Krishna Connection group, suddenly this week has been like calls from people that they never even, I don't even have regular conversations with. And the talk is this, difficulty in continuing with the duties and how my spiritual life is being halted because of my whoever, my husband, my relatives. And it's not one, it's not two, it's not three, it's at least like 6 7 people. And this is the sign that this studying of Gita, this section is putting light on that my spiritual advancement is not hampered or stopped. It's actually the real test. The real test is, like Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are trying to kashmalam. This lamentation. Oh, how can I do this? How can I do that? No, that's not the way. It's you're just behaving like a. I mean, Krishna is not saying jerk, but basically he's saying that. Don't be a jerk. Just don't give in to your impurities and go towards the direction of infamy. For us, what it means is spiritual life is not just doing things that we like doing. Spiritual life prepares us to fight the war of our karma. People in our lives, our husbands, our children, our relatives, whoever, they are just instruments in bringing about that fructification of that karma. And when we're going through that, it's very difficult to understand it. We have to repeatedly keep telling ourselves, this is an impurity to think that people are an obstacle in my life, or I'm not advancing spiritually because of my whoever, my husband, because he's stopping me from something or whatever. It's actually leading us to degradation of spirituality and not otherwise, no matter how much we convince ourselves that spirituality is about the direct actions. And one of my mentors gave me that amazing example. I was in his country and the family had so many issues going on. Dad and mom dad had an accident, and the kids were going through a really difficult time. And this my mentor of mine was like running around taking the daughter to the dance class and the boy to the football, and then the father was sick, and then the mother-in-law had some issue, the brother-in-law had some issue. There was a lot of things, and I was amazed how joyful he appeared while doing all these duties, as if he was just sitting in the kirtan and singing, because that's his favorite activity, sitting in the leading a bhajan. And when I asked this person, he said, oh, I don't see. I said, are you not bothered, or like you're not like irritated or frustrated or stressed? He said, oh, no, I see each of this as devotional service. Of course I enjoy kirtan much more than this, sorting out mess or whatever. I mean, it was like a really hectic day. And this person is an advocate and has like millions of calls from clients who don't agree to certain things, and so much was going on. But this person was doing it as service. It taught me such a big lesson. When I am washing my clothes or pots or trying to make something for my husband that I don't like to, or taxes, work on taxes, or whatever it is that I don't like, if only I can see it as Krishna's hand in trying to humble me, in Krishna's hand in actually helping me advance spiritually, oh boy, that's where I need to get to. Okay, so
That's
we'll go
Radha
to
Govinda. That's a really good point to keep remembering periodically in life.
true, true. Yeah, thank you. Vilas Manjari is saying spiritual life prepares us to fight war of our karma. Yeah, that's a foundation. Krishna gives us a foundation, gives us the taste, but then we want the same thing. We want the taste and we want the foundation. But the fights that come in our life is part of that spiritual life, and it's not separate. That's the point here.
Yeah.
Krishna Arjuna fighting this war and defeating his guru and his grandfather is part of spiritual life, is part of Krishna's will. It's not separate. So we don't try to control situations, and we don't. Another example I wanted to give you is there's a lady here where I'm in this Ayurvedic hospital, and she's had like this really tough life. She was married when she was a teenager. 12 years into the marriage, the husband dies, passes away with 3 sons. One child dies out of sickness, and she doesn't have money to take care, so the child dies. And the other son, as soon as he enters teenage, he starts drinking and drinks himself to death. 2 sons die. And this woman is like, she's 30. She's 30, widow, lost 2 sons, and she's alone. The father and mother die, and she lives here. She's a gardener here. She comes here and does gardening. And her faith in God, her way of presenting her life, the way she was like, oh, this is what God gave me, and I'm very glad for my job here. And she's all day in the sun or wind or rain or whatever. She has this gamcha she ties to her head. She wears a sari, and then she wears a shirt on top. And then she goes around watering the plants, cutting the plants, doing this all day. And she's, by the way, she's 70. I forgot the detail. She's 70.
Oh.
And she's been at it since 30. I mean, I was just thinking, no complaints, I'm 30. This is supposed to happen to me. I'm supposed to have a man. Why can't I do this? No complaints. It's like, I just was in awe of this lady. I see her every day. She's my friend now. I have actually, if you like, I can even send that picture of hers I took. I'll send it to you in the Gita Connection. You will all know what it is. And there's another lady.
Radha Govinda.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the scriptures, it's written, I think, that losing a child is the most painful of all pains.
Yeah.
So can you imagine this woman having gone 3 times? I mean, to have faith after that is just incredible, let alone how she is now with her, what she does. But the fact that she got over this just sounds amazing.
And you know what, Deepa? She doesn't have Krishna connection. She doesn't have Krishna connection, or she doesn't have a Gita connection. She doesn't know how to read. She doesn't know how to write. She doesn't have recovery groups that console her and tell her,
exactly,
she's worthy and she's precious. And she has nothing, none of that.
Wow.
But I have seen devotee women also never making peace with their life. And another woman of a similar age, same age, was telling me, oh, during the time of Srila Prabhupada, we didn't have a proper grihastha life. This is what happened. And now I am having this challenge, and my son is like this. Nobody really cares about me. I mean, the same age group, right? And this person has had access to support groups, recovery groups, scriptural studies, mentors, you name it, traveling around the world. And then this woman was like in a completely opposite the dimension of reality. The point, what I was impressed is the way she has made peace, and she is
Yeah, of
fighting that
course.
war every
Yeah.
single day. She said
Well,
that
the
to
thing
me.
is, she's winning, isn't she? She's winning the war, which is amazing. She's winning the war.
And you should see her smile. By the way, she doesn't even have teeth, but she has a smile. Like she's like, bring it on, life. I'm gonna fight it today too. She's like, she's just a woman who didn't give up. And she said, from the day what was she saying? I think 2 days after the son died, she came back to work. She said, I'm not gonna just sit at home and cry. You know, it's like,
sevens also have a it's very strong in them to not to look at the sour curd.
sorry,
You know, when
who?
sevens, type sevens have this in very strong in them. I mean, of course, this example is like she has used that tendency to connect to Krishna, and connection to Krishna is the main. I mean, you
Oh
know
God.
that
I mean,
she's able
ironically,
to
what
connect to Krishna, but sevens
God.
also have this thing in them which other types don't have. That they don't look at the sour curd. It's like they don't look at the things that are done. Like, you know, they can't do anything about it. They have a way to move on. Like it's their strong. It's
Okay.
and they
So,
all.
by the way,
Yeah.
Vilas,
But
what
they have also
Vilas
connected
Manjari
to
is
Krishna.
speaking
And
is,
correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
no, I'm trying to give us context to our audience here. So what Vilas Manjari is saying is that certain personality types are kind of naturally gifted with that ability, and not everybody. Yeah, yeah, I was trying to emphasize that uh, here now today, if I look at my life, I can see it half empty or half full. Doesn't matter the incidents, of life. And when I saw this woman, that's what I was reminded of. I can either see my life half empty or half full. And there was another lady again, right? Sometimes there is this pride and Krishna, this Kashmalamidam. Another lady, she got married really young. She had a child. The husband was a whatever nonsense. He left her, and she's alone. She came back to her parents' house. She's doing some service here, work here, and she wants to get married. She's young. She's in her 20s, and she was like, I want to get married. And then she just immediately. I was thinking, oh yeah, like she could do this, she could do that. Immediately she said, whatever God wants. She's a Christian lady, whatever God wants. God knows what's best for me. And she didn't have a tinge. Like, I was really, really humble because she didn't have a tinge of of how do you call it? What do you call it? Worry or hankering or trying to figure things out, how to control or anything that I usually do have. And she actually just said, I mean, she's young, she has a baby, she has a girl, she's in a very difficult situation living with the mother and is not very peaceful at home. And there is a guy who's interested, but he's not really like making the move or whatever. But she is so much faith in God. And it really touched me. And I thought, it's not knowledge that gives us faith. It's really not how much I study. And I'm telling you, none of the Gita verses came to my mind. I was just thinking, she showed me this is the guy, this is the guy actually that I like, and he also likes me, but these are the obstacles. And I was just thinking immediately, well, if I was in that situation, I would do this, I would do that, right? The mind, right? The brain, I want to use my intelligence to sort this issue. And this woman just stood there and she said, whatever God wants, whenever God wants, I have total faith in God. And I was really touched. I was really touched.
Yeah, Radha Govinda, it's like the love is so humbling, isn't it? Just to see that kind of love humbles us. Because like you say, if you were in her position, it would be like this and whatever. So imagine the amount, that is surrender. The love that that person has is just surrender, isn't it?
I mean,
Complete
it's, you know
surrender.
what it was? I think it was like she wasn't suffering, she wasn't struggling. Although
Yeah.
the circumstances are million times bigger than me or the close people in my life, it's like they just have that she refuses to struggle with her situation. And I mean, and this girl is not the happy-go-lucky, she's not the type 7, just to in our language to tell Vilas Manjari. She's not. She's probably a one with the 9 wing or one with the 2 wing or something like that. Like she's like the perfectionist kind of a person, wants to do everything right, and she's very helpful here around the hospital. She's like a very righteous type of person, which usually people like that do worry and think what is the right thing to do. She's like, she refuses to struggle, she refuses to push it the way she wants. She's not at all worried about leaving her mom and going, and how do I make my life in this way, how can I convince this guy to marry me, nothing. She's like, God knows I'm struggling, I'm in this situation, I have all these responsibilities of my dad, of my mom, of my daughter, of this guy. The guy doesn't look like the strong, hands-on type. It looks like another guy that will be another responsibility on her. She's like, God. And I was really humble. I was really humble. So yeah. But
That's a
seeing different
peaceful person. That's a
it's a
peaceful
what?
person. Peaceful person. At peace.
I mean, she has million reasons to not be peaceful. Even just listening to her problem, I was more worried than she is with her situation. But and then I mean, Krishna's been like somebody else called me suddenly, and then the person was telling me about the difficulties with the husband and all the challenges the person is facing with the husband. And there was a little bit of that blame, like it's because of my husband. And I immediately remembered, you see, the situation seems so much smaller than this lady's problem, but this one refuses to accept, so she's struggling. And this one refuses to struggle, refuses to go into worry. And I thought, oh my God, that's the Gita second chapter. I cling to something I'm attached to. I want things this way. I have to struggle. I have to suffer. But if I let go, completely different. I mean,
very nice.
And again, right? We are not asked to kill our teacher. We're not asked to beat our husbands. And I was just so worried today, sitting there and thinking yesterday, oh, poor this person struggling so much with the husband, and this and that. And my husband was like, what are you thinking about? And I said, thinking about this husband who is this. And he was like, it seems like you're more worried than like you should be. And I was like, and then immediately I went out, and then this person came, and I said, oh, that's it. We choose to suffer. Sometimes we choose to kashmalam. We like to cling on to that impurity in our hearts. And then we take every example in our life to cling on to that. Sometime I may think, I don't know what I thought. Like when I saw this old lady, I thought, oh, God has made her strong because this my situation is different. And I was like, come on, that's me clinging on to my dirt. So sometimes I find excuses to, yeah, that's true. Yeah, Les Manjari is speaking about, oh, so true. Some personalities, they appear to be like all positive on the outside, but it's just like a cover. It's just like trying to hide their pain. I know that's absolutely true. They want fun. They may have fun, but they may not be happy. Happiness is different than being fun. And then, yeah, when we put Krishna in the center, we'll always find that cup full. Yeah, it's so true. And then also the Krishna connection works. Yeah, about one example of one. Yeah, like I see different personalities and I see the common thing. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we are humble, if we are assertive. The Krishna connection works. Thank you. Yes, Khushbu, please go ahead.
Uh, I just have a conclusion that as you said, we should accept, whatever difficulties we have, we should think that it's Krishna's plan and we should accept everything. But I don't understand that if it's so, then why Arjun decide to fight? Because then at that time, if he's like, okay, I have to accept whatever Kauravas are doing to them, it's okay, fine. But it's not like that. Not so. What's that stage? How can we differentiate that? Okay, this is I need to accept, but now I need to fight.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very crucial question. That's the main Bhagavad Gita second chapter. The idea is not about how do you call it, accepting abnormalities or abuse. It's not at all the point. In fact, it's the other extreme where Krishna is actually telling us fight for dharma. And at the same time, it's not the kind of fight to pacify my ego. For instance, Duryodhana tried to not tried to, he poisoned Bhima, right, when they were very young. And in one sense, if we take this principle, come on, don't tolerate abuse, kill the enemy. If we take that as a principle, then Bhima should have killed Duryodhana back then when they were kids. And then you may go on further, on and on and on. Later on, when Duryodhana came back and created such a mess, he set the lakh house into fire. Also, if the principle is don't take abuse, kill the enemy, that could have happened, but that was not Krishna's will, right? And then so many other episodes. There were millions of times that Duryodhana and Dushasana, imagine Draupadi being dragged into the assembly hall and being trying to be stripped naked. Sorry, just a second. So atrocity after atrocity, abuse after abuse, right? Violence after violence was done again and again. And it's not that the Pandavas did not have the strength to fight back, right? So it's not a black and white principle. It's not such an easy thing to just say, you have to always fight back, you have to find your right and you have to always fight. That will be a very wrong thing to put ourselves through. So it's like this student of mine whose husband is not very caring. So all her baggage comes out, and then she's like, my husband is like doing this and then doing like that. Krishna says I should fight, so I'm going to fight with my husband. By the way, she tried it. She tried that as well. And the situation got really worse. And after a deep contemplation period, she realized that she overreacted. So it can be a big mistake to think that we should always fight to put ourselves in a rightful position. All right. At the same time, we are not also supposed to just, like you said brilliantly, why is Arjuna not just standing in the battlefield of Kurukshetra and saying, come on, guys, I accept Duryodhana for what he is. He just wants me to be killed, I'll kill. Arjuna tried that. He did say, Kim no rajyena govinda, kim bhoge jivitena va. No, I don't want kingdom. I don't want empire. I don't want to stain my hands with the blood of my relatives and reign an empire. I don't want this. That's what Arjuna tried. He tried the acceptance in the passive mode. What was the problem? Why is it not black and white? Because Krishna's will, when Krishna wants it, how Krishna wants it. After 13 years of unfair, I mean, according to me and you, unfair, right? Unfair exile. Pandavas had to go through so much austerity being emperors of the world. They were in the forest wearing tree barks and eating roots and fruits. Bhima was doing that, imagine. And then you may ask, why didn't Krishna give justice? And then I complain about taking care of my mom for a few days. I mean, go figure that. So I'm just saying, Krishna puts me in circumstances. Like when I was in South India, I had to face my relatives. My aunt was not well. I had to face my cousin. I had to face my uncle who was abusive in the past. I had to face my mom that I find extremely annoying. I can go on and on about my complaints, but you get an idea of we all have that, what we don't want to deal with characters in our life, right? But when is the time to know when to fight and when to withdraw or accept? The first thing is the fight is internal. Or in Kali Yuga, whereas in like in other yugas, in Satya Yuga or something, the enemies were in different planets. And then in Treta Yuga, the enemies were in different countries. And then in Dwapara Yuga, the enemies were in same family, Kauravas and Pandavas. And in Kali Yuga, the enemy is in me, inside me. So the fight we're talking about is often, and not necessarily, but yeah, it's often not with another human being or with a country or a tribe or a group. It's often with my own mind. It's me trying to fight the right values and ideals and understand, am I fighting for justice or am I fighting for my comfort of my ego? You see, that's the first fight which is in our mind. And what's the way for victory? Krishna, Krishna's will. Because I am not capable of determining what is just, what is unjust, who should be in my life, who should I kick out of my life. I'm not the better judge. Krishna is. And all these people in my life, as in the life of Arjuna, I mean, even in Arjuna, what to speak of me, even in Arjuna's life, all these people were instruments of Krishna's will. So similarly in my life too, they are all instruments who are trying to teach me certain lessons. I can either learn it joyfully or I can kick and scream and pull my hair out, roll on the ground and cry and scream and complain and lament and blame. But you know, you went through dentist college and you went through your studies, whether a patient kicks and cries, you know, you must have some kids who can cry, right? But the dental work that needs to get done needs to get done. Either I sit in your chair, you know, obviously I don't come to your office to sit in your comfortable, cozy chair. I come there voluntarily to undergo pain. So I can either do it voluntarily, understanding that there is a purpose behind my, I don't have many dental experiences, but what do you say, filling done, whatever it is. Or
I am quite easy with the dental procedures, but for me, it's difficult to understand the relationships basically. Because dentistry, okay, I'll done, but relationships, you know, you have to face so many things, and sometimes I feel like maybe I have Krishna. Like Arjun is so comfortable that whenever he calls Krishna, it's always there. I don't have whom I ask.
you do have him. By the way, madam, dentist thing is easy for you. I'm talking about the rest of them who come in front of you with your instruments in hand and sit in your chair. So
Yeah.
you are in that position of the person in the chair with your relatives.
But that also, it's not just about feelings and all. It's all deals with my patient's emotions. I can feel that, and it's very difficult. Because sometimes you understand, but you don't have to show. You just have to do the work.
Yeah. So in relationships, the powerlessness that acceptance that I don't know what is the best for me. I don't know if this is the time for me to give up this relationship. I mean, just today I got a letter from my student. She's with a guy. She wanted to marry him, and now she's having second thoughts and all her complaints, right? And I just faced this other person, and the student of mine is a devotee. Krishna devotee, has read Bhagavad Gita, right? Or knows the verses, and this other lady, who's a Christian lady, doesn't know even one letter of Bhagavad Gita. My student went on, it's because of this, and she was mixing. He's feeling this way. I don't want him to feel stuck. And I actually feel this. It was all so mixed up. And there was not a single sentence that said, I would like to know what Krishna wants me to do. So in any given circumstance, like me, I was thinking of this girl, she could do this. No, she likes this guy, the guy likes her, they could meet somewhere. I am sure. I was thinking, right? She said, whatever God wants, I'm not gonna push it. So and this other girl has so much more than this one, but not once she said, I wonder what God wants. Because she sent me a voice message of 9 minutes, and I said, I'm not going to listen to it. and then
I think somewhere it shows that our faith on Krishna is less because we plan according ourselves, and when we fail, then the last and backup plan is to go to Krishna.
Yeah.
I think that shows our faith on Krishna is very less because we have a backup plan at the end we go to Krishna when we are not able to do anything, then I think I should go to Krishna. But I think if my faith is strong, then I should first approach to Krishna. Am I correct?
This is excellent point. Two things. There are two things, right? First of all, when I run out of all my options, right? I've kicked, I've screamed, I've pulled my hair, I've rolled on the ground, I've done every possible thing, right? Unable to figure it out. Don't think that is bad or wrong. That's all right. It's all right to try it, to do all that. But it's only and only by grace that we can come to the point of Arjuna, when he gets down and says, what's the verse again?
Karpanya dosho.
Karpanya dosha, thank you. So until Arjuna comes to that point, he said all that. He kicked his hair, he dropped his gandiva, he was pulling his hair down, he was trying to remove the crown. He did every possible thing. Given example of my life, should I do this? Should I stop messaging the person? Should I message back and express how angry I am? Should I express to the person that I don't want this person anymore? Well, all the possibilities. I went through it. First time, it hurts a little bit because nobody's listening to me. Second time, I tried to get a little 20%, but the 80% went wrong. Next time, I think I could fix that 80%, I try something else and it goes 90% wrong. And finally, the 10th round, I realized, oh, wait a minute. What about asking Krishna?
I think Radha Govinda, I've got to get this in. I think we don't, I don't know about the word faith, but I think we don't trust Krishna. And, I don't trust Krishna. And I know when I've soul searched and everything, and ultimately, recently, I come to this and I think, oh yeah, of course, I don't trust Krishna. Why am I expecting so much from Krishna? I don't trust it. So, yeah. But I think generally it's not just me. I think it's all of us. The trust isn't there because we felt pain and.
Right. We usually compare Krishna to a mundane father figure or somebody, We don't see him as the supreme who cares about my insignificant dilemmas. He can help. We don't see him that way. Second, we may trust him, but we want to, him to go left or go right or go straight. When things go a little other way around than what we want, we lose trust. We try to fix it.
No, but
I trust you,
Radha
Krishna,
Govind,
but please get me this result.
yeah, but there's another side to this as well. You think, how can I be in so much pain when God knows? How comes there is so much pain in the world and God knows all this? So it's not just about what you've said, but the fact that we do go through pain, and if we don't kind of deal with that pain and that, those are the feelings that are left.
Yeah, and this old lady humbled me when she said, it's the destiny. It was my destiny. She never blamed God. She never said, why God put me through this. And I was humble. I grew up in a devotee family. I heard about karma theory, right?
Yeah.
I had a very nice conversation with a friend of mine, and it was about this. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Yeah. It was the same point. I am in this given relationship, relatives, karma, because it's my karma. These people are just instruments. My husband, my mom, my dad are not responsible for my pain, nor is God. It's my own karma. So that's why the karma, the Gita, later on, Krishna goes on and on and on about karma. It's not by chance. Please remember that Arjuna is going to lose all the children of the Pandavas are going to be dead. There will be no heir to the throne. This is a situation that it's not like Khushbu when you were speaking about. Is it like, why don't I go to Krishna first? Even Pandavas didn't go to Krishna first. They didn't. That's the reason they ended up in the dice game, losing and losing and losing and losing, and still they didn't call Krishna. And Krishna told Uddhava in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I was waiting for them at the door. I was waiting at the door. And Krishna gives chance after chance after chance after chance. And when we're actually lucky? As I said, when after I pulled my hair out and all my hair is gone, and I've rolled on the floor and you can't see the color of my skin, and I'm so desperate, like Draupadi, so desperate that she called out to him with that desperation. Then he came. And Khushbu, it's not that Arjuna called Krishna and he was there, madam. No. Krishna came for Draupadi, but not for the Pandavas when they were playing the dice game. And Krishna is as much present with us as he is with Arjuna through our own circumstances, situation, duties, and dharma. It's not otherwise. But again, the desperateness of Draupadi is what got Krishna to be involved directly. The desperateness of Arjuna is what got Krishna involved directly. It's nothing other things. It's not through my intelligence. I have to remember to ask Krishna for help. Will not happen. My intelligence will cheat me. It's only my helplessness. It's a quality. Prabhupada said that.
So how to get that?
The more helpless
How become more desperate? What is the key to that?
all the circumstances in our life, relationships, when it humbles us and we don't know what to do. We don't, in the addiction program, people who are addicts, they say sometimes it's good for people to hit the rock bottom, meaning they end up in prison, they get divorced, they lose all their money, they lose their license, things like that happen to people who are addicts. So they actually say it's a good thing, because that's when they will really want to clean themselves up and sober up. But
Radha Govinda, also when people have breakdowns, they have breakdowns, but afterwards their lives just open up and they go on to do so much more.
Yeah. So Khushbu, this question is $1 million question. how do I get that desperateness? How do I surrender? It does not come by self-will, or it's not by mere determination. It is only and only through prayer. And surrender, the real meaning of surrender is, even if I don't get that desperateness, whatever Krishna wants. He wants me to get desperate, okay. He wants me to struggle slowly, okay. Aslishya va padaratam pinastumam adarshanam marmahatam. This is Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking about Krishna can treat me as he likes. He can squeeze me, he can leave me, he can make me struggle. So the whole point of Krishna consciousness, the whole point of Gita is, may Krishna's will be done. So again, it's not about me controlling my life and saying, I want to become desperately attached to Krishna so that I will stop suffering. That's not the goal. Arjuna is not fighting this war to get good karma or to be happy in the future and rule an amazing kingdom. No, no. He's going to lose his children. He's going to lose everybody. His hands literally will be tainted with blood of killing his own clan. But he's doing it because it's Krishna's will. So does he know? Most of the details Arjuna doesn't know. He doesn't know how things are going to happen. He doesn't know how Karna is going to be killed. He doesn't know, I mean, at this point where we are in second chapter, he doesn't yet know. Is it important? No. What is important? He wants Krishna's will to be done, whatever he goes through. I mean, Arjuna has no idea what all he has to go through in this 18 days of the war. We are still in the first day of the war, by the way. It's beginning, just beginning. You know, Abhimanyu is gonna get killed ruthlessly, and that time, faith, trust. Oh my God! Like Deepa was saying, the worst thing is to lose a child, and Arjuna is gonna witness that. And you may say, but he was doing Krishna's will. How could he be put through that? Right? We will have to address those questions as we speak about karma later. Yeah, sorry, Vilas Manjari. Yes, I see your hand up. Please.
Yeah, sometimes, not sometimes, when we practice spiritual life, our spiritual ambitions also become blockage from seeing our current situation as Krishna's arrangement for me to get closer to him. I have separate ambition that by becoming a preacher, I'll be connecting to Krishna better. By becoming a big book distributor, I feel connection. I might be feeling the connection, but still that Krishna has a different route for me to make me see, make me understand what it means to connect to him. It may not be necessarily always through the as you said, intelligence can cheat while addressing Kushbu's question. I might be cheating myself through my intelligence by watching the route which my intelligence is telling me. Through scripture you're feeling connection to Krishna better, that becomes my ambition, and it makes me blocks me from seeing my current situation as an arrangement from Krishna to get me closer to him faster, like shortcut, like so that was my recent realization, that actually stops me from going to that powerlessness situation, because we want to feel I'm in control. So that's why the faith remains wherever it is. It doesn't go up, because that's the thing of ego, that I feel secure when I feel I'm in control. My plan is working, I'm executing my things. I want to feel in control and in power, in kind of secure, that thing. So yeah, I just want to make that point, that our separate ambitions, although they have spiritual mask, but they block us from going through that helpless situation. We don't feel comfortable to go through that powerless. Nobody. But I really love your beautiful reminder again and again and again, that powerlessness, that being there attracts Krishna's grace. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that's beautiful. points. And Khushbu is not here, but the conclusion is, how can I become powerless? We have to even become powerless about that question. You know, we don't have power. Okay, she's here. Let me repeat that. Okay. The question Khushbu was asking, it's the core of the whole point of Krishna consciousness, that how can I become desperate for Krishna's mercy is by becoming powerless over the fact of how can I control my desperateness towards Krishna. We begin with accepting that I have no control over how to become desperate. That's my level of insignificance and powerlessness. And as Vilas Manjari beautifully was sharing about how our spiritual masks can be obstacles, I'm also noticing that with this past week, it can actually be like a trick. I want to advance because Krishna consciousness gives me the taste, and this desire to want to advance, and Krishna puts all these obstacles, and we think, why is Krishna not letting me finish my Bhakti Shastri? Why is Krishna sending me all these problems with relatives or whatever? But actually, Krishna is exactly doing what we asked. He's giving us an opportunity to advance. But we do not see it. We don't see Krishna's hand, you know.
We want
no,
the
but
shock.
Two points. Just sorry, just want to make two more points. I'm sorry. I just want to make two more points. Like, he actually softens our heart. He's basically making us more perfectly emotionally emotional. Like we most of the any personality, we try to try not to value our emotions, even including the person who are, but he teaches us how to value our emotions and accept them. That's one point. And second point I forgot. I'm sorry, I'll share later.
It's okay when you remember. And when Vilas Manjari was sharing the first previously, I remembered Karna, right? Arjuna definitely wants to defeat Karna, but you know what an ordeal that was. Oh my God, it's going to be a huge issue. And what Krishna does, he does the unthinkable. Unthinkable. Can you imagine? Here, this verse that we just studied, Kutastva Kashmalamidam, he's saying, where have all these impurities come upon you? You're going to become infamous. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you're going to become famous if you don't fight, etc., right? And then he's going to kill Karna in the most unjust way. Obviously, even today, there are scholars and people arguing about how Karna was more powerful than Arjuna. And the way Karna was killed is the proof. You know what I'm saying? So Krishna didn't give Arjuna the kind of victory that he wanted. He gave a victory which was very, very narrow escape. Why? Because Krishna had a purpose. Krishna always has a purpose. So the answer is, we cannot control our powerlessness. Even there, we are powerless.
Beautiful point. I just want to, I remembered the other point. I was able to see that powerlessness because of what you explained in the previous Gita connection, that I was able to figure out even behind my spiritual mask, there is some selfishness. I was able to do that because you told in one of the previous Gita connection that when I want to give Krishna consciousness, for example, let's take the ambition of studying for Bhakti Shastri, right? If that is taken away from me, then I examine what is that I want to feel behind that, right? You asked, while explaining Duryodhana's emotions, you were explaining why. If he would have asked, what is that I'm looking for behind this? Why do I want this? and then he could have got answers. So all I wanted was, I wanted to fit in. I wanted to, I was feeling lagging behind. I was feeling powerless. I was feeling I'm less. I just want to make myself a little up in my self-image. So that was what I was looking for. I was feeling underestimated of myself. I was not good enough for myself. I myself, I was criticizing myself. You're not good enough. You're not. So that feeling of good enough, that I was looking for. So they're all material. They're all non-Krishna conscious, right? So that brought me closer to powerlessness. That experience brought me to feel powerless, that, even though I was thinking that I'm doing this for spiritual purposes, I was like under wrong understanding of myself that I'm doing for spiritual purposes. The thing is, reality is that, but the ego covers it and gives it nice spiritual explanation, and we don't know. I don't become aware of it and I suffer. The moment I became aware of it, that there is a gap between, then I became powerless, and then I started accepting myself, and I handed over to Krishna, and Krishna, you take over. I accept it. I don't want to hanker Bhakti Shastri anymore for these things. Please take away. I couldn't do that. That's when I felt powerless. Hare Krishna.
I mean, it's a great share. I mean, that's great realization. I think the summary is a sangha. When, like Akushbu, I told you I'll send you that article. You read that, something about why we should surround ourselves. We shouldn't surround ourselves with admirers, but those who can speak the truth. Somebody may just tell you, "You're right, Kushbu. Don't worry, the other person is wrong." And okay, you may surround yourself with people like that, but then it's like Duryodhana. How everybody was like out of fear doing things for him. But then you may look at Arjuna and say he was surrounded by Krishna and Yudhishthir and Bhima. Go kill Bhishma, go kill Drona. Obviously, like, I don't want to do that. So he was surrounded by somebody that told him the truth. And what is the truth? Kutastva kashmalamidam. Why are you filled with these impurities? Don't act like this. You will become infamous. You're a jerk. This is what gets to hear. So I think that's the secret answer. Being with people who remind us constantly. And yeah, I mean, if how do you call it? If I'm surrounding myself with those who remind me the truth, then I also have the same duty to do that. So if I have friendship with people who are all like, "Oh, you're so cool, everything you do is really good and great," and I'm supposed to do that, then it's not real relationship. We need people who tell us, "Hey, this is your karma. That's why you're struggling like this. Make peace with this. Do this." Like we need people who can tell us the truth. Like Krishna is a friend of Arjuna, and as a friend, he's saying these things. We don't just go out on the street and say these things to anybody. So, Kushbu, be very careful when you say, when Arjuna called Krishna, Krishna was there. When I call, where is Krishna? Because if you call him, he may come. And we don't know. And we don't know where he's going to give us a slap or hit us
that's
on our
fine,
bummies.
but that's fine. But because he knows what's good for me, na. Because I also, whenever I just read Gita and see, I see that Krishna is always there. So my mind is like that I'm able to see Krishna, I'm able to have a conversation with him, that he should tell me, okay, do this. I have that picture. I just want that. No, I am lagging. I want that, but how should I get that? So I don't know whether it's possible or not.
Krishna's entry is very dramatic. Love that. Love his entry. It's highly dramatic.
No, he is.
But
He
I
is
think
guiding you.
everything is possible. If we imagine, I think we can do it. I think it's our
Khushbu,
impurities. We
Preparation.
cannot see him. We cannot see him.
I mean,
all
even
you need to do is forget. If you just think you're talking about being desperate or powerlessness. If you just take out spirit from material life, you will get to that desperate state, that power, So if you want to do that, then that'll really get you there. If that makes any sense, I don't know. But yeah.
It takes time because even, you see, Khushbu, it's very important to look at the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna. It's the first time in years, Krishna and Arjuna, they're only born 6 months apart from each other. Krishna is only 6 months older than Arjuna. And they've always been best friends, always joking around, happy, nice. Krishna never spoke to Arjuna like this before. So it took many years of friendship and trust and faith to come to this point where Krishna is telling Arjuna these things. So for you and me, the same thing. When I started this Krishna Connection group, one of the major inspirations for me was I would journal, Dear Krishna, and that was my relationship. That's how Krishna Connection, the idea came about, because it was originally a journaling group. Because that's the way we develop our friendship. Okay, so we need to develop it in a way that we become ready for Krishna to jump in and give us the clear indication. It's a practice, connecting to Krishna. So Krishna Connection. So keep coming back. It works.
Yeah, I
if
do
you
that.
work
I do also journal. I just every day when I think and I feel sad, I don't talk with anyone. I just write a letter that I'm talking to him. So sometimes I feel that I'm just writing, where is he? So these are just my thoughts.
Yeah.
So I do journal.
No, journaling is a very good way. Dear Krishna, journaling, anything, everything, you can talk to him. He's listening.
But I think you are correct that surround yourself with people. But I think that this is the devotee association. I think that I'm
Yes.
grateful that I'm in association with you all. I'm really feeling very nice. So I think devotee association is very important because whatever they say to you, it's right. They never say to just blame you or just to make you feel bad. There's a difference when there are two people. Some people just call us bad to just, they don't want us to grow. They enjoy criticizing us. But I don't think devotees know what's good and what's bad for it. There's a difference between criticizing you and I think telling you something about your good.
Very, very true. I think, sometimes the people who are closest to us, like parents or relatives, they are very harsh. They say things, but not really to uplift us, but to kind of just use words, just to say things. Why did you have to do that? Why did you have to wear this? You look weird with that hairdo or something. And it always remains with us. It's like it sticks to us, because they're kind of close or something. The biggest criticisms are not from enemies or people out there. Our closest ones sometimes are the ones who hurt us the most, right?
This I realized when I read Gita, because Krishna never criticizes Arjun. He always uplifts him.
And you know what Krishna never does? Something that people around us all the time do. You should not have done that. You should not have done this. It's like, how can I go back into yesterday and change something? I can't. So, that's like Tamo Guna support system. Oh, you should have said this. You should have done that. You should not have done this. It's like such lame type of talks those are. Okay, let's
even
read
if
what
Krishna, one last point, I'm sorry. Even if Krishna criticizes, he does with so much love. It doesn't fit. I mean, it's perfect. As you said, he knows. Yeah, sorry, because he criticizes Arjuna in the first chapter, right?
You should not have done this. You should not have done that. He
the
never
emotion
uses past things like. He just says, "Where have these impurities come upon you?" is present. He's not talking about past. Okay, let's read what Sujata is asking. I have a question regarding people you surround yourself with. I have found that more and more of my circle of people is shrinking, and they're not really being replaced with anyone. Either they are shrinking as I do not want them in my life anymore. Life has become busy, death, etc. I wonder sometimes then how I would grow. Or is this a very purposeful thing that is happening to help me lose my attachments and realize that at the end of the day, it is just me and my creator? Thoughts, please. The family, parent, community, just speak, yeah, judgmental things so many times. Yeah, it's so true. And it affects us. When family speaks, it affects us more. Okay. First, we have to divide this question into shrinking of people in our life. Is that shrinking of people and replacement? Okay, these are two separate things. It's not, it doesn't have to work the way like Arjuna was losing people, you can say. Like Drona and Bhishma, they all went on the opposite side. I mean, that looks terrifying, right? To have everybody on the other side of the war. But first thing is we are not alone. Even Arjuna went through this situation. The Pandavas went through this situation. They were left all alone. They were left with not even their underwears in the forest. And I mean it. They didn't have anything. They were just abandoned by their relatives, their grandfather, kingdom. They were abandoned by their brothers, and they were punished for something that they never did. Right? So first thing is losing what kind of people? Who are these people? Second, we really responsible, like you said, you do not want them in life anymore. So that's a choice. So it's not losing. It's not called losing. It's called editing your life ruthlessly. It's a big difference. Losing is people when they abandon you and they go away and things like that. Even that is a blessing at times, because if people leave us because of some lame reason, there's no point of them staying on in our life, because when there's really some important thing, they won't be useful anyway, you know. And at the same time, having said those things, we are not the best judges of who we should have in our life, who we should not, as a immediate thing. We should ask Krishna to take over. And whenever I do that, yes, the editing does happen. Sometimes in a hurtful way. The person may reject me or something, but I look back and say, well, I did ask Krishna for help and this happened. This is Krishna's help. So you see, Krishna's help doesn't have to come in some mystical way, like you're sleeping and in the morning when meteoroid falls in your room, and then there's a note inside and you have to open the box with some special code, and then you open it and then Krishna says, do this, do that, do this. That's not the way it happens. It's by everyday circumstances and relationships and choices and inspirations coming from our own heart. And not necessarily that people have to be replaced. And if it has to happen, why should it happen on my watch? It can happen on Krishna's watch. It doesn't need to happen the way I want it or when I want it. Then I heard this thing about when Maharaj was saying, if you have one real friend in your life, like one, that's a huge success. So we cannot have many best friends. Sometimes people say, I have many best friends. It doesn't mean anything. You really can only have one or two real close people in your life. That's the way we human beings are. I mean, in Arjuna's case, it happened to be Krishna who was his best friend. And of course, for us too, Krishna is our best friend. But I'm saying among human beings, even if we have one person to call a real friend, it's a huge success in life. Then, yeah, and yes, definitely it's a purposeful thing. Editing of relationships, losing of people, whether they end it or we end it, it all has a purpose. But my usual mood is be humble about it, never overconfident and say, I don't need these people, I didn't need them anyway. To not do that, but to be humble and say, I mean, recently I lost a friendship of 28 years. It was really sad. And the only thing that really consoled me was not, it was her fault, it was my fault, this, that, but the only thing that consoled me was Krishna wanted it to end it this way, and this was his way of saying, you've grown out of this relationship. Nothing else would console me. I mean, we were childhood friends and best friends for decades. Yeah. And yes, the engine room, you know, life is a long journey, and we are in the engine room, and the only person with us is the Lord, the Paramatma, and of course our Guru, the spiritual master. Every other relationship is just a compartment. And what's that verse? There's that verse. Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam harati nimesha kala sarvam maya mayamidam akhilam hitva brahmapadam tvam pravisha viditva. This is a famous Bhajagovindam song, and the paragraph speaks about how my people, ma kuru dhana jana, that's the first word. My people, my children, my money, also my followers, all these things, my youth, my pride, all these things can be like this in one second. Time can actually harati nimesha kala sarvam. Kala, the time can take away all these things in a split second. And maya mayamidam akilam hitva. So do not don't cling to these illusory shelters and think that this will save you at the time of death. Brahma padam tvam pravisha viditva. So the ultimate thing is the connection with the Supreme Lord, and that's the engine room, you know. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. So, oh, stupid mind, don't cling to these things. Cling to the holy name of Govinda. And that's the only shelter which will, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful song. The translation is just amazing about what we cling to. If you like, Sujata, we can have another talk about clinging and how our clinging is what brings us to the next stages of life. And like for Arjuna, what he clung to was Krishna's friendship. He clung to it. And when he was offered either the big army or Krishna weaponless, Arjuna had no doubt in his mind. He clung to Krishna all the time, and now he was going to cling to Krishna. He was not going to choose to the army, which Duryodhana clung to. Army and wealth and my people, that was what he was, exactly the opposite of Ma Kuru Dhana Jana Yauvana Garvam. All that Duryodhana clung to those things. And he chose that at the end. And so this is a great opportunity, I would say. When these things are taken away from us, it's the way that Prabhupada said, when somebody is very dear to the Lord takes away everything from them. And yeah, especially people, because we usually cling to the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're very wise. Your understanding seems to be very balanced. Some people blame others. They are not this, they don't. I did that a little bit. And my friend broke off the relationship. I said, she doesn't value me enough. And then immediately I started journaling and said, it seems like I think I'm of more value than whatever, right? It's kind of entitlement or something. Yeah. It's hard. Relationships, losing them, choosing them, it's hard. And it's not in our hands sometimes. But we wait. We wait for things to unravel. And Krishna always has the best plan for us.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Can I add to that?
Please.
Yeah, when I got divorced and people disappeared and all that, and I used to get very distressed about it. And I realize now that that was the best thing ever. Krishna arranged it so beautifully.
Mm.
That all the stuff that wasn't right for me disappeared, and this very wise woman said to me it was God's will, and that I shouldn't be feeling sad or anything about it. And you know, she said, look, you've got opportunity now to do all these other things. And it really made a lot of sense. And now I know, oh my God, I would have never been able to do that myself. But Krishna, the way it was arranged, it was so nicely done. And it happened in stages as well. So that I wasn't, you know, it wasn't quick. So that's another way of seeing, you know, that when the right, as you're moving on, Krishna will help you and find you new opportunities, and things just open up so much more. And I love that. I just think, oh, wow, I'm so glad he intervened.
Yeah. It's so true. And what Vilas Manjari is saying here is also very important. Praying for the person who left my relationship is healing. That's the secret. Praying that let them learn their lessons joyfully, let them find happiness and success. And it's very important to wish them. Then I'll be able to move on positively.
And it also reminds you that others will leave you. Nothing is permanent. Krishna is the only permanent thing there is. That's it.
And it's so beautiful to have you all say that, because it's such a good reminder. Like for me,
Exactly.
coming to Krishna Connection, building this relation has, like, you remind me. I know, as we talk about it, we remind each other this point.
Yeah.
Krishna Connection is the point. It's not about us making perfect decisions. It's about us taking shelter of Krishna. That's the point. And it's so beautiful. Yeah. Go ahead, Sujata. And then we can end with Sujata's share. And we'll, yeah.
So funnily enough, yesterday I had on my YouTube, because I'm always listening to stuff on my way home, and it was like little snippets of different philosophies, and somebody's made a video channel, and this was about one of the philosophies of the Stoics. And it was funnily enough talking about this whole topic about being attached, holding on to things, and then we become miserable because we think we're in control of it all. We think we're in control of our looks, we think we're in control of our friendships, of our job, of nature, of everything. And the man on the video was saying that one of the ways that the Stoics looked at it is you should just see it when these things go, that they weren't yours to keep, or they've left you, but you've actually returned to them. And I really liked that they were there for a short time, and you've now returned it, or it has returned to where it came from, be it a relationship, be it a job, be it an item or anything. And I know we talk about it in this philosophy here as well, but I just really like the simplicity of the way that it was put. We don't own anything, it is on loan, and all that, let's just change up the language we use around it. It's been returned. It's just been returned. That's it. We didn't lose anything, it just got returned. And I really liked that.
Nice.
Yeah. Is there another way of saying that? Something like, if it's yours, it'll come back, right? Something like that.
Oh yeah, there's that one about the caged bird, isn't it? If it was meant to be yours or something, it will always come. Like, let it go free. and then if it was
Right.
meant to be yours, it would come back.
Right.
But this was kind of
Yes,
going
I
even
mean,
beyond that.
people use that for children as well, isn't it? Let your children go, and if it's, they'll come back.
But this was going even beyond that, because it was saying eventually everything is going to go. Your children, your life, like everything. So it was just, it was a nice way of letting you know that it's all here on loan for a short time, and then let's just remember it's just been returned, and that's all it is. It's been returned.
So beautiful. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm going to end the live stream.